Hi, welcome to the latest video in the series building the Balsa Spitfire. We're going to do this week is the exterior accessories preparation. So we're talking things like the exhaust, the inlet manifold, the oil sump, etc. So we're starting off with the exhaust, which is relatively straightforward. Two pieces glued, sandwiched together for each of the two exhausts. So that's straightforward enough. Bit of gunge on there. Stick the two halves together. Lovely jubbly. Pop them to one side for the glue to dry. And we go on to the oil cooler, which is made up of several pieces. So again, bit of gunge, pop them on top of each other. Same again, pop it to one side just for it all to dry. Then we move on to the air inlet. Several pieces for this. All again, all sandwiched together. Just glue, and as you're going along, just try and remove any surplus glue. They're going to be shaped anyway, but getting rid of the excess glue while it's still wet is always a bit of a plus. Just make sure any slots and pins, etc. line up with each other. I do apologise, we've got a bit of a jumpy glitch. I've tried to get rid of it, but it's only for a few seconds, a minute or so, and then it seems to go away. I don't know quite what caused that. It's usually when you're running extra little features, speeding up or that type of thing. So anyway, as I say, it doesn't last for so long, and then it's gained some normality. So essentially, it is the bigger pieces are in the centre, and they get smaller as you move to the outer edges. But just follow your numbers on from your booklet or your plan. You can get them lined up as best you can. We are going to sand all these down, so it just helps if they're in line to start with. Again, pop it to one side for it to dry. And we're going to move on to the radiator. It's quite good fun, this. The two outer pieces are made up of two pieces, which one being slightly taller than the other, which leaves a little groove. So those grooves, when it's all dry and we're going to assemble the top piece, the grooves go on the inside, so the two grooves face each other. You'll see it in a minute. So we need to let them dry, but once they're dry, we'll be adding the top piece. You can see it on the diagram, but one's slightly smaller than the other, which when they're sat on top of each other gives you that natural little groove. So I found the easiest way was to offer them up to the plan and pin the two outer edges into place with your panel pins. Obviously make sure the heads of the pins aren't going to be in the way of the top piece. Now this just, you can't really see from the top angle, but it kind of get the front edge pushed up to the front of the two outer edges, and then it folds over the top in a smooth, like an arch. So once you've got your glue inside the two grooves, and you've checked the fit and everything of your top piece, because it's arched, it isn't going to hold on its own. It'll need some pins just to keep it following the shape that we're after. I tend to go a bit over the top with panel pins. You might be able to do it with less, but anyway, I paid for them, so I'm going to use them. So that was how it was left to dry. Give it an hour or so. Take all your pins out. So that's all the accessories stuck together, all the pieces sandwiched and glued together, and they're all dry now. So now we can start to sand down. So for the exhaust, as you can see there, it's got like a domed top. So if you offer it up to the plan, you'll be able to see it. And if it was tipped on edge, you'd see that it has a rounded dome at the top. So we're just going to try and tickle that with a bit of sandpaper. I find these nail files are really handy. So if you're struggling with a piece of flat paper like that, I find these a bit cumbersome. Sometimes the little nail files, the long ones, I think they call them emery boards, don't they? You just use one of them, and just always be nice and gentle with your sanding down, because the balsa wood is so soft, you'll soon wear it away and you'll destroy the shape rather than enhancing it. So be nice and steady. Go on for as long or as little as you like, till you're happy that you've got the desired profile. So you do repeat the same thing with both of your exhausts till you've got that nice little domed top. And then we go on to the oil cooler. So we've pieced it together. So your three pieces are all glued. The bottom one is hollow, so that's the one you start with. And then you put the other two pieces on top. Now once everything's dry, we're off again with a bit of sandpaper. Again, I don't know why I'm showing me using a piece of flat paper. The emery sticks, and you can get them in different grades and whatever. I just nicked whatever the wife had. There you go, that's one of them. They're so much easier. So again, what we're trying to do, you can see the profile on the plan there. It's not dissimilar to the exhaust. We're just trying to get a nice little domed top. We're trying to blend those three pieces that we've stuck together. We're trying to blend it and get a nice domey effect on the top. So again, it's just a matter of tickling away, tickle, and then just keep offering it up to the plan. Once you're happy, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters, because it's your plane. So there you go, near enough for rock and roll there. Check it on both the views, side on view, top view, and then there's even an end view. Look, difficult to show you there, but trying to get that it kind of rounded, and it also tapers to front and back. So take a good look at it and just whittle away with it. That's what you're going to do. similar to the outside edges kind of taper in at the front and the back edges and are slightly rounded over along the length. So again, just tickle away, because if you take too much off this, you're soon going to ruin it. So just tickle away nice and steady. I think if I remember right, I just erred slightly on undersanding this one, because when you do the edges, if you did too much, you'd soon find it would go through that very thin sheet that you've glued in place on the top. It wouldn't take much to go through that, so I think the thing with all these accessories is it's just, there's no exact finish. Just try and round them off and take off any of the square unnatural edges. You just want it to look a bit more streamlined. Once you're happy with one side, you just repeat it and try and get the two sides to match as best you can. Just slightly easier to see it with the dark beneath it. So the air inlet, once we've stuck all those, I think is it 5, 6 pieces together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There were 7 pieces that made this up. So it's got like a hollow centre. We're just trying to make it looks a little bit like a beetle's back from this top angle. So because the pieces are already slightly different lengths, you can see it. You can see what you're trying to achieve. You're just going to try and curve the back end into more or less a point. So again, the old emery boards, perfect tool for this. Smooth the top off, get all the layers of balsa wood to the same height, round over the edges and taper it towards the back. It's just, you just got to keep tickling away and keep offering it up to the plan. That's the easy way with this. And don't try and do everything at once. If you do this, curve the sides in towards the back, and then the top, let that drop down towards the back, and then finally sort of round over the edges. So I'd really appreciate it if you would click the like button and subscribe to my channel. I've got some exciting projects that I'm really looking forward to, will be coming up in the near future. Just a few more episodes of the balsa plane to finish. Next up being the where it starts to look like a plane, we're going to be fitting the wings to the fuselage and the tail plane and the fin, so we do start to see what the Spitfire is going to look like when it's finished, so that's quite exciting. Just keep tickling away on your air inlet, just taking a little bit off at a time. Don't take too much off, you'd have a job putting it back on. So slowly. And there you go, a filtered plant. Once you're happy that you've got it as near as you want it, job's a good one. One little tip that worked nicely on this, I used a little round sanding attachment that goes with the Dremel. and it just fit in that that kind of arc that we're looking for on the underside, because it's going to fit on the underside of the fuselage, and that just is perfect. So join me on the next one when we start the main assembly. See you then.